Hey, what's up guys, Slick here, back again with another video in the Chick-fil-A drive-thru, which is a great time to record a video about your thoughts on DLC in a video game. So, I want to give my thoughts on Fighter Pack 2. I will admit these thoughts are rather negative, so brace yourself if you are, not sort of in the mood to hear that sort of thing. Somebody tweeted me after I, was like, Fighter Pack 2, meh. They're like, oh, thanks, Slick, you just, buzz killed my opinion. I can't remember who it is. I know it's somebody that tweets me a lot, and I would know their name as soon as I saw it again. I just can't remember who it was. I don't want to be that for you, so, if you're hyped for it, that's cool. Then, maybe this video is not for you. But anyway, if you want to hear my opinion, here it is. Fighter Pack 1, I was pretty happy with. I mean, Starfire and Red Hood are great additions, and then Sub-Zero is in the game. Now here's the deal. Admittedly, I'm not an MK fan. Like, the only Mortal Kombat game I've played is Mortal Kombat versus DC. Okay, so do keep that in mind. Besides the arcade games that that are in like bowling alleys, whatever. So I don't have a connection to these characters. I really just don't, and that's something that it's important to consider when you think about my opinion on Raiden and Sub-Zero being in the game, because I don't want them in the game. Okay, so keep that in mind. I understand that some people do want them in the game. My philosophy is I can get MKX for like 10-15 bucks at GameStop. If I really have an interest in playing as these characters, there's like 11 different, 9 games, maybe Sub-Zero or, Raiden wasn't in one of these 10 games that have been made for Mortal Kombat this far. But you get my point, right? There's plenty of avenues to play as these characters. There is 0 avenues to play as Clayface or, who are characters that people want to see a lot. I mean, there's so many. There's so many. Martian Manhunter was actually already DLC in the first game. You could go Miss Martian, Beast Boy, all these characters, we can go all the way down the line. There's no avenue to play as them in video games. In fact, many of them have never appeared in a video game ever, which is sort of crazy to think about. Again, in comparison to Raiden, who's been in, 10 games or whatever. So, when I see somebody like Raiden, I really do view that, in my opinion, as a wasted slot. I view that as somebody that could be taken up by Beast Boy. And it's not so much that I'm very anti-guest character, because Hellboy is a great character, right? But I look at Hellboy, who is basically the Dark Horse. Dark Horse is a comic company. Third-party comic book, version of Lobo. Okay, Lobo is basically Hellboy, for all intents and purposes. I mean, I know they're not the same, they're very different in a lot of different ways, and that's a very broad generalization, but, speaking in terms of, like, their attitude and the way they act and stuff like that, I think they're very comparable. So, if I could choose between seeing Lobo and Hellboy, I would choose Lobo, because, that's my perspective as a DC fan, even though Hellboy is a sweet character. More than Lobo or Hellboy, Beast Boy, characters like this, I think would be great to see. And again, it's not so much like, oh, no guest characters at all in the game, down with Spawn or whatever. If Spawn shows up, that's cool too. But, if I have to choose between Spawn and Beast Boy, or Spawn and even somebody like Dr. Manhattan, who is now intertwined with the DC Universe, coming from 2016's Rebirth in May of 2016, I would choose that. So, it's like Raiden. I'm not excited to play as Raiden. I'm just not. I might not even download him. That's sort of like, I will, because I think I have downloaded Sub-Zero, who's actually really fun to play as, if I may give it to them, and I'm sure they change him up from how he plays in Mortal Kombat and stuff like that. But that's just my honest opinion about Fighter Pack 2. I think it's kind of a dud. And, Black Mana is awesome, but as a pack itself, and you have to consider that we paid $40 for this, 40 divided by 3, what are you looking at, like, roughly, not 15, 14, roughly, in that range, dollars, So you have to look at that as well, as to, like, how much you're putting in for each character. 40 divided by 9. You're looking at a decent amount of money for each character. Not as much if you were to buy them individually. $6 for each individual character. Buying the season pass equates to roughly $4 or $5 per character. But even then, I don't want to buy Sub-Zero and Raiden and stuff like that. And it's sort of unfortunate that the season pass, unless Season Pack 3 is like a home run, I will kind of be a little disappointed with the season pass. Won't be my first time with the WB game. With Arkham Knight, admittedly, when it was out, I was like, oh, the season pass is abysmal. But then, I sort of my opinion evolved on it, and I started to see the value in it a little bit more. Maybe not worth $40, and I think that's the same thing with this DLC. Not worth the $40, but still there's some value in there for us all to enjoy. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Let me know who you would rather see instead of, you know, MK guest characters in the third, you know, DLC fighter pack. Let me know in the comment section below. I'll see you guys in the next one.